Locally, it seems like we've been able to make all of the appropriate upgrades, but we need to remember that our continuous integration files might also need to have a bit of a revamp. For starters, if we scroll down and have a look at our GitHub actions, then at the bottom you should see that before we were using the conversation tests.md file to check whether or not we were doing the right thing. And now, this is no longer a markdown file. It's now a YAML file, and we need to make sure that that change is properly reflected here. Also, you'll notice that we are installing Rasa 1.10 here. So let's be explicit and change that to version 2.0.3. Now, these two changes, they are valid. Making those is a good thing. But now that we think about versions and properly migrating, there's something else that we can maybe consider doing now as well. If we scroll back up here, you'll notice that a part of the configuration here specifies when this job is supposed to run. We are running all of our checking mechanisms now whenever we push to master or whenever someone makes a pull request to master. But there are also other settings that we could put in here. In particular, what I'm thinking about is I'm thinking about adding a so-called cron job. A cron job is nothing more than something that's scheduled over time. But this will allow us to say, well, we've got some tasks that I would like you to run down below here, and I would like you to run that once a week or once a day. And here's why that might be useful keeping these versions in mind. I would like this python package.yaml to always check a specific version of Rasa. But if Rasa makes a new patch release and something is breaking accidentally, then I would like to know that up front. So what I'm also going to do now is I'm going to make another one of these YAML files, but instead of installing a specific version of Rasa, I'm going to have it install the latest and greatest version of Rasa. That way I can be made aware of a breaking feature change inside of Rasa for my specific use case before I start merging. Now, setting this up is pretty easy. I'll just select everything in this file, and I'll add a new file here. I think cron.yaml should do it for now. And now I'll paste pretty much the same job in here. And I will call this cron test dependencies. One of the first things I'll change is I'll remove this, and I'll replace it with a schedule. Now, it's a bit of a domain-specific language, the way that this string defines a schedule, but what I'm defining here is essentially run it on a daily basis. I want it to run on minute 0, hour 0 for every day, every month, every week, etc. And next what I'll do is I'll remove the version here, because in this particular case I want to have the latest Rasa version. And also, I'm only interested in the effect of Rasa on these tests. So that means that I can remove everything that has to do with pre-commit. Now, with this change, this code will run on a daily basis. And if there's ever a failure happening, then I can configure GitHub such that I automatically get an email telling me that something went wrong. And this is nice because before I do an update for a new Rasa version, I will already know if there are components that are currently breaking and that I should investigate. Now note that this is a minor change perhaps, this cron file, but this will also protect us against some of the dependencies that Rasa has. And we can also use this pattern for any extra dependencies should we add them to our library. Again, it's a small thing, but it makes for less surprises as I'll be maintaining this, and that's nice.